Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming. My name is Jake Dibbert. I'm the middle school principal here at ASD. Starting my 10th and final year, if you read my principal's letter. We're so proud of everything that we've accomplished in our time here to really develop a well-rounded, robust, rigorous, any other alliterative R word you can say about our program, because it's truly inspiring to have welcomed all of our students back today and then to be standing on stage in our first middle school assembly not more than 90 minutes ago and seeing nearly 500 students and over 50 amazing faculty. It was awe-inspiring and a great way to begin to build our community and what we like to call our family in the middle. And so, welcome to this presentation today. I just want to start off, we do have a program. Sorry, we were getting crazy there for a moment. I'm joined by Corey Willie, our associate principal in the middle school. He's in his third year with us, and he'll be speaking a little bit later on in the program. And then I just wanted to talk to you about our most important people in the middle school, kind of the holders of amazing amounts of information and being able to support you in every which way possible. Ms. Diala, there, and Ms. There's plenty of seats over here as well if you want to move yourselves in where you're comfortable. So Ms. Diala and Ms. Joanna are in the middle school office. They're the faces you see when you come in, and they're able to help you in a variety of different ways. Joanna is not new to ASD, but new to the middle school, coming from our elementary school program, so we're really excited to have her joining our team. Our counseling team, ladies, stand up, please, if you don't mind. Ms. Courtney Bennett. Courtney is our team lead our department lead for counseling. She's working with our 8th grade students. Ms. Bertha Knox is climbing up from 6th grade with her 7th grade students. And Ms. Silva going back down to 6th grade and with her 6th grade. So they're joined by Ms. Pina in the counseling office. So, yes, we're here to support your children first and foremost, and we're also here to partner with you and support our collective responsibility. I really feel it's collective in supporting all aspects of your child's development, not just academic, but how are they positioning themselves and feeling supported emotionally during the middle school years, socially. So please know that we do have an open door policy around meeting with you, partnering with you, providing resources, helping to figure out how best to meet your child's needs. So thank you so much to you guys, and I'm going to say if you want to go back to your posts and, and continue supporting our students, you can do that. So thanks so much for that. I love this quote, and I'm going to read it out so people can take it in. We need to always deal with the child that's in front of us and not the child of our family. It's a powerful quote that talks so poignantly about the middle school years. I think as adults in their lives, both as parents and as teachers, we always have kind of what our expectations are for, come on in, if you want to come across the front, and there's plenty of seats over here on the other side. We have an idea of how maybe we want them to be, but it doesn't always turn out that way or come out that way in any given day, or sometimes for teachers in a given hour. And so middle school is a time of discord and disharmony. A lot of it has to do, what we know from brain research is brain development and the prefrontal cortex developing at different stages of other parts of the brain. And so when you ask a middle schooler, why did you do that? They don't know the answer to that question. They truly don't know the answer. And so It's about helping to process with them. It's about being a model for them. It's about always being there for them, listening to them, because their voice is truly important. And so when I look at this quote, I think about all the messiness of middle school. And in some ways we get a bad rap as well. I think it's sort of like, well, we'll never figure them out, so we just need to kind of keep them in middle school, and then somehow they're going to find their way, and they're just that way, right? They're not. They're amazing children, and they have amazing ideas and a lot to contribute. It's about harnessing it in a particular way, in a personalized way, so that each of them feel empowered to make decisions that affect their lives. If you were with us in the 6th grade presentation yesterday, I attributed it to sort of a fork in the road. Up until the start of middle school, students have been very compliant. They're really good at listening to our instructions and following our lead. And now it's about giving them some space, some independence to wrestle with their own ideas, their own identities, their own sense of belonging. And they quickly realize that the decisions they make directly impact their own experience. And so the more we can give them that opportunity and to be there for them when they're quote-unquote failing, to help coach them, that's where the growth happens. That's where their self-awareness happens. That's where their sense of belonging and identity within a social construct happens. So it's hugely critical, and we feel that it really sets them up with skills and a mindset for their success in high school and beyond. Okay? So just a little diatribe there on that quote. I want to show you a brief video by the author of that quote, Dr. Madeline Levine, who talks about this probably more poignantly than I do.
Parents often are concerned about how much internal motivation their children have versus how much external motivation their children have. They get a big helping of external motivation in school, in their grades. I'm so proud of you, you did such a good job. But really in life, it's internal motivation that counts. Kids who are engaged with learning, which means really care about what they learn, have very high levels of internal motivation. The problem with external motivation is you're dependent on somebody else to make you feel good. And so kids who are externally motivated tend not to take risks, tend not to push themselves, because if they do, they may lose all the goodies that come along with somebody saying, you were terrific, or you got straight A's, or, like that. In the work world, CEOs of companies are desperate for intrinsically motivated kids, because it used to be you had to give kids, workers, a report once a year. Now CEOs are constantly reporting to me, I have to go in every day and tell them what a good job they've done. I have to go in every day and tell them what they're supposed to do the next day, and I'm exhausted. From a very early age, to the extent to which you can encourage, how do you feel? What do you want to do with that? Then your child stands a much better chance actually academically and out in the work world and just in terms of being happy with the choices they make.
Easier said than done, right? So I recognize that myself as a father, not of a middle schooler, but two brand new K1 twin boys. It's so easy to want to jump in and kind of say this is the right answer, or this is the choice that you need to make right now. But it's finding that balance, and I think if your children know that we love and care for them, we'll drop everything to listen to them, but really it's kind of guiding and coaching them to make decisions that's going to really empower them and set them up for success going forward. Great book. I did share this title last year with people, but if you're brand new to us, it's really around how to build capacity in your children and give them some coping skills to deal with the inevitable hurdles that are presented to them during young adolescence. So how do we do that? I think programmatically we try and do that through a well-rounded program, academically, and through our advisory program. And it's all about trying to help children reflect on who they are as people and set goals and to gather evidence and to be able to speak to the growth that they're making in a way that makes sense to them. We've learned from educational research that the one-size-fits-all of everybody sits in the class and there's only one way to deliver a particular set of knowledges or skills to a student, and that they're just supposed to somehow receive it and figure out what to do with it and then regurgitate it on an exam is not relevant for their lives. And so it's about developing critical skills to be more thoughtful and intentional and creative with their learning. So we came up with a new improved student profile this year, which I think reflects that. And I did share this with your children in the assembly that we had today. We put a challenge out to them, and I said, look, this is not just a poster on the wall, but what does it mean when you're really demonstrating resilience? We're going to build educational or academic, purposefully academic experiences that's going to test that out. What does innovation actually look like for you? And what are the thinking skills and the action skills that go into that? And so this is really kind of it's a call out for us as administrators and as teachers to make sure that we're organizing. Please come on across. No, absolutely. Welcome. It's a real challenge for us to make sure that the learning that we're engaging students in is something that's relevant and authentic for their lives. That's not always a very linear path. We're talking about creativity not just in terms of doing a performance or creating a piece of art, but we're talking about creative thinking and creative problem solving, and so that means taking risks, and it means creating a safe place for risks to be both ending up to be successful and being having it blow up in our faces as well, and we need our kids to know that's okay. And so that challenge to being able to step outside your comfort zone, we try and do that through exposure to a number of different courses and opportunities for them to exercise what they're good at and maybe what they're not so good at the same time. We talk a lot about growth mindset as well with our students. How are you coming into an opportunity to learn something new? Are you fearing failure to the point where you're kind of excusing yourself or not trying something new and different? Or am I so afraid of the feedback that I'm going to receive from my parent or my teacher that I'm just going to kind of play it safe here? We really need to encourage exactly the opposite. I want to shift gears actually a little bit. So we'll talk more in the coming weeks. Back to School Night is a great opportunity for you to get into teachers' classrooms and understand how this philosophy is really articulated through the courses that they're taking. But today's presentation, the purpose of today's presentation is to give you kind of a sense of our philosophical approach in the middle school, as well as talk about some specific initiatives that we hope to partner with you as parents on over the course of this year. One of those initiatives that we're exploring K-12, the division principals in the elementary and the middle and the high school have committed to a community of kindness at ASD. We feel that at ASD we have amazing kids, and I've heard that all day long. Teachers coming up to me in between passing periods and after lunch saying, oh my God, I saw this happen where a kid was sitting by themselves and another child just came and asked him to come and sit with us, and it was a girl asking a boy, and he was brand new, and it was just this amazing experience. So those things are happening all the time at ASD, and if you're new here, you'll start to hear some of those stories that your child is talking about. So this is not a message of we don't have kindness. We absolutely do. I think we can play to our strengths. But we're really looking at a comprehensive approach this year to help explicitly teach what kindness is, and have students practice it on a regular basis. Really messing with me today. So what does that actually look like? We're partnering with Harvard in making Caring Commons project, and that's really kind of an organizational self-study, or we reflect on some data that they help us collect and implement some community-wide, some specific initiatives within our school. Teach Kindness is a bank of free resources that will be helping push out through our advisory program and through our courses, just to simply be kind to one another. In January, we're lucky to have Dr. Justin Patchen, come back and work with our students specifically around this phenomenon of cyberbullying. We're active in communicating to your children what it means to be a digital citizen. But we all know, right, that our students have powerful devices in their hands, and when we're not actively supervising that, there's a lot of communication that's going on behind the scenes there. And so it's really important to get experts in the room that can talk to students and to parents and to faculty about how we make sure that use is responsible. Another one is a movement in the States right now called Wait Until 8. And this is for brave parents out there that might like to join me and some teachers in developing a campaign to not put smartphones in the hands of students until 8th grade, just because we're starting to see through some of the research and experiences that students below that age level may not have the skills and the capacity in order to manage the device appropriately. So look for more information coming out if it's something that you're passionate about, or you just want to find out more about why we're pushing some of these things forward. We'd love to, again, partner with you in sort of a community-wide kind of action team that will help promote some of these healthy kindness skills and initiatives in our school. I'm going to turn it over to Corey right now, who's going to take you through some of the roles and responsibilities of parents and students and teachers as we promote kind of partnerships.
Great. That was a great segue, because I think with things like teaching students empathy and with reinforcing digital citizenship, we're only doing half the job if we only do it at school or we only do it at home, and we're so much more powerful if we join forces together. I think it's a strength of our community. Our parents are great. We even just the size of this crowd and the crowds that we've been having for our parent sessions is testament to that. And I know I'm new enough to the school to remember the first time I stepped on campus and how many people reached out to help, and how many people are just really invested in the personal growth of your children, the academic growth, and just cultivating really not only people that will go on to elite universities, but also will make a positive difference in the world. So partnerships are a key part of that. Please just join forces, and we'll be giving, we'll be offering several opportunities for you to understand what we're communicating in school, so you can reinforce that at home. And we also appreciate when you give us feedback as well about things that you're seeing at home, because we can help improve our program here. I'm going to stay next year for this look here. Can I just tug on my ear?
Yeah, there you go. We worked out our signals.
So, role of the parent, just want to clarify these roles, and we don't offer these suggestions to be pedantic, and many of you have heard this over and over, but we want to be really clear about what that communication looks like, because it's different at every school, and it's different in middle school than it is at elementary, or if you've had a high school child, it can look different. So, first, communicate daily with your child, and I know most of you do that. Ask them about what they're doing in their classes and in their lunchroom. Communicate with their teachers. We do encourage you, though, to encourage your children to self-advocate. So if there's a question, or if they're coming home with a complaint about what's happening in their English class, it should be them that initially reaches out to the teacher to share that. And our teachers are well-equipped to help a student deal with those types of challenges. And you could even give them a heads up. Hey, I've encouraged Johnny to come to you in the after school, and just be aware that he has some concerns about homework or whatever it is. Also, communicate with your counselor about social and emotional concerns. So a lot of times we're seeing things in school that you know about, but maybe that hasn't been communicated, or maybe you've communicated it to one person, but the message hasn't gotten through. So we use our counseling office sometimes as a nice kind of clearinghouse for that, so we make sure that we know everything we need to know about your child. And attend school events, they love to see you there. It's, again, another strength of the ASD community. We always see parents at the field house or the performances, and it makes for just a richer experience for your kids. In terms of the teacher's role, we really frame the teaching role around student advocates. So they're really on your child's side, and we really try and encourage that through not only advisory, but through their role as a classroom teacher. You will see a couple forms of communication. They do communicate a lot of things about assignments directly in the grade book. So sometimes you might not understand what you're seeing in Power School. Feel free to reach out so they can help explain what's happening, or ask your child because they might know more than they might be aware of things that you aren't even aware of. And Power School Learning is our platform for sharing information about homework and assignments and unit plans and things like that. So that has a teacher view side. You'll also see your children interfacing with Google Classroom, which is more day-to-day classroom assignments and receiving feedback and submitting assignments. But Power School Learning, and every teacher does post that, and you have access to that as well. And please do reach out to our teachers with any, not only concerns, but also celebrations. We have very, very hardworking teachers, and we have a lot of very hardworking people in the crowd today. You know how good it feels when someone recognizes work well done. So I encourage you to reach out with an email. It means a lot to our teachers, and especially this time of year when they've been rushing to get the school year going, but also with any of your concerns, or to kind of, again, just engage in that partnership and support your child. So
That goes the other way about teachers communicating with parents.
100%, and our teachers know that they're expected to reach out when they do see, maybe someone falling through the cracks, or even if they're seeing your child maybe not, not feeling so great lately, or if they've done something really exceptional in the classroom, you should know about.
Sorry, can I ask an addition?
Please.
The advisory teacher, is that their main teacher, or is it all these other teachers? How does that?
Yeah, good question.
proceed?
So the advisor is a small group. I'm actually advisor this year. I'm excited. It's the first time in a couple years I've gotten my own advisory. And it's maybe 10 to 12 students and a small group. And they meet every morning for 10 minutes. And then we bookend the week with 45-minute sessions after lunch. It's really where it's a foundation for our social emotional learning. So they might be having discussion questions in a circle, that kind of thing. Maybe watching a video on something that they might be dealing with in school. And in the morning, it's just kind of a check-in. But then they have 8 other teachers for their classroom teachers. A lot of times the advisor is also a classroom teacher, so they might have them as a French teacher.
So you directly contact all these teachers?
Depends on what the concern is, right? So, yeah. And you can always contact if it's a social emotional concern, definitely the counselor, and their advisor is a great person to contact too. If you have a question about math, of course, students, and again, the reason that we really emphasize that role of the parent versus student and self-advocacy is when you do interject when a student could solve a problem. Think about what you're communicating to your child. Really, you're taking away their power to manage their own situations. And we know from what Jake spoke about earlier, it's so important that they build those self-directing skills. Encourage them to ask lots of questions. To check their grade book and Power School Learning regularly, so you can look at that together. Remain organized. In 6th grade, they all get a Katal, which is our planner, our school planner. In 7th and 8th, some of them are on electronic organizational tools. Others are others can access the Katal. They all have an opportunity in advisory to kind of decide what tool is right for them. But you can also discuss that with them as well. They're also expected to reach out to you. I know this is an age where you can sit down and say, "What did you learn today?" and you just hear crickets. But it's asking probing questions. It is so important that students are talking about what they're doing in school and what's happening with their friends at home, even if it's like pulling teeth sometimes. And we just encourage reflection and goal orientation. Okay, so we put a clock. I'm always doing mischievous things after Jake's shared the presentation with me. You don't have to shout out answers, and there's no grade for this, but just wanted to throw out a couple of questions, and you can think about it to yourself, and maybe if someone thinks they know the answer, they can raise their hand.
I
So,
didn't realize I was going to be banned up here. The quiz show, but I'm ready.
you didn't get the memo, but
No, I didn't. No.
Okay. So first question. If you have a child come home with a concern about their teacher, who should you have a conversation with first? You can raise your hand if you think you know the answer. Yeah, your child, yeah. And maybe that conversation with your child is, let's role play what this is going to look like when you sit down with Mr. Jones and have this conversation. But help them process it first. You know, a lot of times, not a lot of times, but I think there are times you can all relate to. Someone comes home, Miss So-and-so hates me, right? And like, okay, they really hate you, and why do you say that? So ask those probing questions. And then empower them to go and try to mediate situations. So this one's a multiple choice one. If your child has spoken to a teacher about a concern, the situation is still unresolved, who should you reach out to? Dr. Richards? A middle school principal? Their teacher? Or none of the above? Every child will be a part of the deal. Any thoughts? Yeah, it's a teacher. Yeah, and please do interface with the teacher. We do sometimes. If anybody in this room has ever reached out to us to ask or to complain about a teacher or something that's happening in class, you'll know the first thing they'll say, and I don't see any of those people today. But the first thing we'll say is, what did the teacher have to say about it? Please do trust them as professionals and reach out to them first if you have a question. If there is there's obviously caveats to that. So if there's a child protection concern, you're worried about children's safety and well-being, please reach out to the administrator or a counselor to report that, and then we'll get it to our appropriate supervisor. And then true or false, if you have feedback about our program, administrators are eager to hear it. That's true. We do want to hear your feedback. The message is not today, don't reach out to us. We do want to have those lines of communication, please. And then number 5 is parental support and strong influence on student success. True or false, that's of course true. It's really important. The research really bears this out, that the stronger the partnership between parents and school, the stronger chance the student has for academic success. So, and that's just so important. So, thank you for all that you do for us and the part that you make up in our community. And we're just so excited to have your children in front of us. There was a great vibe today at our assembly this morning, and we're excited for the year ahead. We've already, I think, covered most of this. I think the number one thing is presume positive intent. You know, when you're talking to anyone, everyone cares about their children. I'm a father of a 1-year-old, so I start to think about, what that will look like in 10 years, and I know, how much I care about him and want to protect him, and everybody in this room and the teachers included, looking out for this. Yeah, thank you. Do you have anything else you want me to make sure I covered? Do you want me to talk about infractions? No, I'm just going to skip it. It was like such a downer.
Since you brought it up.
Yeah. So there is a bit of a difference if you're coming up from elementary school. You can look forward to a year of this truth. So we do have an infraction system, and that's a scary word, and it sometimes scares children. Really, an infraction is a warning. It means that someone's been redirected. Usually, it's preceded by many verbal redirections. So if a student maybe is out of uniform multiple days in a row, and the child has not complied with the teacher's instructions, then they might get an infraction. It's still only an email to you. It's really a communication tool. If they get 3, then they'll get an after-school detention, which is an opportunity for them to reflect. We have very action-oriented detention. But that's what that is. I think there's a big mystique about infractions when kids come up from elementary school and they're really afraid to get infractions. Every student, I wouldn't say every, but many students, even our best students, will make mistakes, and that's what when we say failure, that's one way it can look. It's not the end of the world if the child gets an infraction. It's really just akin to writing a name on the board, right? And it's a warning, and it's also a way to communicate with you that this has been going on. Yeah.
Yeah, I can just add to that. I mean, they're as they are at home, they're exercising their boundaries. They're seeing how far they can go in terms of the decisions that they're making about how they're interacting with maybe a sibling, either younger or older, as well as their peers here at school. And so we just need to get that out into the open and acknowledge it. We can't stamp it out completely and just say, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure my child doesn't make a poor choice. It's going to happen, and we just need to to ask for your trust in knowing that we're going to be really communicative with you throughout the process to make sure that we're kind of speaking the same language. And as Corey said, it's highly reflective in nature, and so it's really about them, either needing to restore a relationship that they might, a relationship of trust that they might have broken, and figuring out kind of the impact of the choices that they made, and also at the same time acknowledging that there's other aspects of their life, their school life, where they're contributing positively. Okay, so we're not saying, you're the bad kid and you need to sit over here during that process where we're helping them to reflect. We're saying, look at all these other amazing things that you're doing as well. This is not defining who you are as a person. It's how we're responding to this choice that you made and helping you move forward with that.
Yeah, these are just, this can be difficult to navigate, especially if you're a new parent. We have lots of communication at our school. Maybe you could say we're almost overly communicative. But you can find everything in multiple places often, and there's some built-in redundancy to make sure as a big school everybody gets the message. ASD News is weekly for the community at large. This is only my third year, some of this I'm still learning. The Go portal is a very valuable tool, and there's a middle school portal, but you can also sign up for sports teams through the portal. Almost everything you need is in the Go page as a parent, so that's a very valuable tool. Just take some time maybe to explore that if you're a new parent to school.
Middle school is directly from the Go.
Most of it
It's not
internal.
the school,
That's what we're talking about, exactly.
Yeah,
so
so
there's not another one.
No,
but
one
inside the Go page,
Okay, sure.
you might see things that apply to K-12, but then if you click on middle school.
Exactly, but that's what you're talking about, that's from the Go page.
Yep. And then our external website is more of our outward-facing communication tool. Students get the middle school bulletin, and so every morning that's read in the advisory, so that's our way of getting things out to them. And then there's also Jake's principal letter, where they put really flattering photos and but also some announcements. Don't forget to read those announcements at the end. And of course email, and we also have an Facebook page. I think since this slide was originally created, we developed Twitter and Instagram as well.
Yeah, question.
Sorry, good comment. Because there is so much communication going out for the parents who are new, I just wanted to remind you that season 1 tryouts are coming up for students, and I know that can get kind of lost in the mix, so check out the athletics page. I believe it's swimming, dance,
volleyball.
So you do have to register, and tryouts are coming up next week, so I just wanted to give a thought about that.
No, it's not mandatory. We do strongly encourage that everybody does at least one after-school activity throughout the year, and something more than that.
So I want to just take it, feel free to snap a photo of that. We'll be communicating all of these dates frequently and often in our multiple platforms. The big one, please, if at all possible, please do attend Back to School Night. It's a Tuesday evening, the 10th of September. That's middle school Back to School Night. Each division has their own Back to School nights, but this one is really where we put on a comprehensive evening where I'll do an address to all parents to kind of welcome and set the theme for the year. But then you follow your child's schedule, and it gives you an opportunity to meet each and every teacher that your child has. I know it's overwhelming to come into middle school, and there's all these faces, and how am I going to communicate with everybody? But that is really the best night for you to come in and spend about 10 minutes per class. We'll make sure that you have enough time to get to your next class on the evening. But it's a great chance to meet everybody and get a real feel for what learning looks like in each of your child's classes. Our Week Without Walls program, even though Week Without Walls happens in February, that's our International Experiential Education Program, we do put students into their Week Without Walls groups early on in the school year for a number of intentional reasons. One is team building and preparations for that amazing experience in February, but we're also developing more comprehensive integration of what they're learning in Week Without Walls throughout their courses this year. And so they'll actually be developing their own Pathways project where they're taking some doing some learning and having an amazing experience, and then doing some informed action as a result of that. We'll talk to you about more of this as the year rolls on, but this is a sort of a program launch where it's a parent session to learn more about Week Without Walls.
Could I just add to that, just for returning parents, the conferencing structure might look a little different, just to give you a heads up. You know, in the past we've invited you to full set of conferences, and then in the fall we do student-led conferences. There will still be a conference format, but it will be more integrated with that Pathways project, and that's something that's still in design mode that we're rolling out slowly throughout the year. So just to give you a heads up, if you don't see those things coming out, they're still there, but they're absorbed into that Pathways project.
MAP testing, measures of academic progress, is our adaptive standardized testing program where we will test in the fall and in the spring and measure students' growth over time, and it provides teachers with a wealth of data on how to best meet the needs of your learner, of your student in their classrooms, and that's going to be happening near the end of September. 3 coffee mornings per grade level. I know one message has already gone out, but each grade level parent facilitators will be sending out those communications about how to connect with other parents in the community and find ways to get involved. We have a parent social that we would love everybody to attend this year. And then November 13th and 14th really marks the end of the first quarter. That's after our first progress report is issued at the beginning of November, and it gives you the chance to come in and meet with teachers individually about your child's progress. So there's a number of different ways to kind of get connected over the next couple of weeks, and we look forward to, if I haven't introduced myself or we haven't talked one-on-one yet, I'd love to meet with you as the school year unfolds. House t-shirts. We've tried to communicate this from a mountaintop via email and through several of our presentations. It's something that we've developed in accordance with our house program. Students are super engaged in our house program. There's competitions throughout the year. Really does a great job in building community in a large school, and so we've made these available through Zach's. We were selling them the other day here on campus in our orientation, in our open house, and then we'll have different points during the month of September to actually be selling them here on campus if you can't make it over to Zach's, which is just across the street.
Those are all the logos were designed by students, so Ms. Roach and the group of students designed those, and they're really excited about it.
To conclude the presentation, we're going to leave a lot of time and space if people have questions for everybody, for the larger group, but then we'll stick around as well to answer questions as well. But please know that it's not a cliche when we say this is about building a trusting relationship with you. And as I said at the beginning of the presentation, every child is unique. Every child needs a different approach. We're committed to that, and we're committed to partnering with you. Just know that means that we don't always have all the answers, right? And so when we're dealing either with a social concern or maybe a behavior concern, we're going to come to you first, and we're going to say, how is this going to work, and how do we learn more about your child so that we can make this an effective resolution moving forward. And so we definitely have their best interest in mind. Sometimes those conversations can be difficult, but we know that they're critical. And trust that your child is learning the skills that they need to handle problems on their own. Again, not the child of our fantasies, but how are they dealing with it on a day-to-day basis. We've got to give them the time and space to do that. We all want to see success, and I know that's true for yourselves. Just know that we're kind of on the same page there, and developmentally, it's just going to happen, okay? And it doesn't always go in a straight line. Sometimes we go this way and that way, but we get there, and I being in the school as long as I have, seeing students walk across the stage at graduation, I'm like, they just turned out so awesome. Even if I had doubts at times. But it's great. We've got a great program, and I'm really excited to start the school year with you. with that, we'll open the floor for any questions that people might have. Yes, please.
When you parents, I'm not sure
Well-
advisory is an email that children will get, or what is it?
Advisory is a function of the school day, so they'll meet with a small group of children, about 10 or 11 students, with one teacher every day. That teacher may be a teacher of one of their classes, but maybe not. And so it's just a way for them to feel supported in the school and develop a sort of a family away from home, so to speak. Please.
I have two questions.
Mhm.
The first one is, what is the expected as a guideline amount of homework
Sure.
on a daily basis? And my second question is, the slide you showed with the link from resilience, self-awareness, and student-centered skills.
Yes.
How does it translate in class? How do the teachers implement that? From
Yes.
yesterday you mentioned content versus skills.
Yes.
How do you shift that?
Okay, so I'll answer your easy question first, which is the first one about homework. Homework is something that is a part of our middle school students' lives. We've been working hard as a faculty to rethink homework in a way that's called home learning. And so they will be getting assignments that are issued by the teacher. Students should be spending an hour a night, I think, is what we have articulated in our handbook. If you're seeing a whole lot more than that, I can say with a fair amount of confidence that it may be some study skills or something that we would need to work through with your child to make sure that they are not spending more than that amount of time. So we see the value in it. We want to make sure that it's relevant and is not just rote kind of practice. Sometimes in small doses that's important to practice a certain skill, but we want them actively applying what they're learning in new and different ways. And so you'll see a variety of different tasks that are coming home. But if there's one class that's sort of like way outside of that kind of general guideline for homework, contact the teacher and just kind of say, my child is spending upwards of an hour just on your class. What is that? Why would that be? So that's important feedback for the teacher to know. I need to work with that student to say that you're spending way too much time on this assignment. So that's my answer to the.
Can I just add to that? Just to give you a little bit of backstory, it's something that we really care about because obviously we care about student well-being, but we also want to have a program that has appropriate rigor for the age level. We need a group of teachers that look hard at the research, and we actually made some pretty strict, not strict I would say, but some guidelines that are published in the handbook. And so we got a lot of student data as a part of that process. So there was a whole process a couple of years ago to make sure we're hitting the right spot. Well, research says it's developmentally appropriate. That said, as Jake said, every student's different. So the amount of homework, some tasks that takes a student 10 minutes might take another student, 45 minutes or an hour. And so it is important to keep those lines of communication open. And if your child is ever at a point where he's up at 1 a.m. doing his homework, have him stop. It won't be, but have him stop and email his teacher, ask for some leeway. And teachers have been asked to respect that as well. So we want to hear from students when they feel like they have too much.
The second question about sort of implementation and measurement of our student profile. It's an amazing question, and it's one that we're facing right now as a leadership team. It's the revamped student profile was one that was developed exactly with that in mind. We're developing that roadmap this year for teachers. So that's a goal of our school, is to bring teacher committees together to say, how is this already being explicitly taught and measured within your classes? How can we do it in a meaningful way? So that we can begin actually not this school year, but next school year, actually reporting out on that and putting out those, measurement or the feedback to students and parents and their progress in those specific areas is something that we're committed to a year from now. But this year is kind of figuring out how that works, how we can assign specific attributes or mindsets to projects and things like that. So it's exciting work, but it's just it's kicking off.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the rating system for middle school?
Yes.
And is it different than high school?
Yes. It is slightly different than in high school. So we are a standards-based grading and reporting school. On Monday, September the 2nd, at 8:30 in the morning, we have a session dedicated specifically to answering your question, where it'll be myself presenting alongside our Director of Learning, Glenn Carlson, and we will go through all aspects of the program. You can look at resources online if you go to our Go page in Teaching and Learning. There are past presentations of how we implement standards-based grading and reporting in our school. But in a nutshell, we've moved away, 7 years ago, we moved away from a traditional grading system, which I grew up with, where it was a letter grade or a percentage in terms of how I'm doing in a particular course, into reporting strands, which we're really looking to measure mastery and progress for a student in specific aspects of each course. And so it asks teachers to measure the skills and understandings of students in a way that charts growth over time. And then we report out on that 4 times a year. And then we also report out on a child's sort of approaches to learning and how they're communicating in class effectively, are they meeting deadlines, engagement, and those types of things as well. So please come to that session or look on the Go page. There's plenty of resources about how we tackle that. Thank you for that question. Yes, Corey has advisory, so he needs to leave, but I'll stick around for a few more questions.
Is that grading thing on the 2nd or the 3rd?
I'm sorry, I looked up because I didn't quite remember exactly. If you look on either the principal, can I borrow that for a second? Thanks. It is Monday the 2nd of September.
There's a presentation, I guess that says the 3rd.
Okay, this one, this official one is correct. Okay?
It would be helpful if on the MS calendar,
Right.
it doesn't show these.
I will make sure. I'll tell Diala. It's a great suggestion. It's an obvious one as well. I will let her know to make sure that they're on there. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, they'll be up this afternoon.
Can I
Yes.
just say something further to what
Please.
you're saying about the calendar? And I was going to actually ask the administration, you know, when you have events on the calendar, it says like today's presentation. But it would be helpful if you can also maybe include the room and all that. That's never on the calendar. So
Okay.
like go inside and
Okay.
search it.
Great. Thank you for that suggestion. Yeah, I'll work with Diala on that. But that is something that we endeavor to do to make sure that each event has that information listed. Thank you for that. Please.
How do the parent conferences work? I mean, you know, other American school, like 5 minutes for each teacher and we're racing around. And
Yeah. Sure. We used to do it that way, and so I think we've got a better system now. So at the end of the first quarter, that's that mid-first semester progress check, will have received a report card home. And then we set up in our field house all the teachers in an arena-style setting where they'll have their own tables, and you just come at your leisure, and you can kind of see everybody in the room and figure out which teacher you can go and see. There's still shorter conferences, about 5 minutes in length, for you to kind of get a good sense of how your child is doing, but you're not necessarily racing around on a schedule, if that makes sense. And we take two school days for that to happen, so there's plenty of time to get around to see everybody.
And also,
Yes.
I feel like I read somewhere, but it hasn't been reiterated, and it's one of those things that people get really
Yes,
hyped up about,
absolutely.
so I feel like I maybe read it wrong. Is the school keep nut-free or not?
It is not technically, but we do ask peanut free.
Okay.
Right. We do publish it everywhere, and we know students that have that allergy. We go to their advisory teacher and say, absolutely not here in the classroom. So there are nuts on campus, but we. We're looking at one. I work with middle school kids. All right, I'm the biggest nut there is. All right. Yeah, we make sure that everybody knows, who is we need to be extremely sensitive around,
And
and
it's school-wide?
school-wide,
Okay.
absolutely, yes.
I have a question about the house learning.
Yeah.
Is that updated on a regular
Yes.
The assignments are given just to keep parents in the loop? How does it work?
Yes, so Power School Learning is, we shared it with some 6th grade parents yesterday. Each course maintains its own home on Power School Learning. And so teachers are actively using that as their planner for upcoming lessons or sharing resources after a lesson. So it's all there. Assignments are posted in Power School Learning, which then will show up as a calendared event for your child. So every night, thanks for coming. Every night your child can open up and on their dashboard for Power School Learning, any announcement or assignment that's been assigned to them is all in one place.
So if they had to,
Please,
so
yep.
if they had to further to your question, if they had to miss a school a day or two if they were ill, they can then go into that to make sure
Absolutely.
that they can catch up if I'm not quite clear.
Absolutely, and they can email the teacher as well if they've been away because they're ill or at a tournament or a number of different reasons why they might be absent from class. That's the first place to go is Power School Learning. Most oftentimes, if a child's away, the teacher is proactive in sending an email saying, "Hey, missed you in class. Take a look at this. Let me know if you have any questions." Yeah.
Have you had any issues with bullying, and if so, how did the school handle it?
That's a great question. So I think I would lie if I said we have zero bullying in our middle school. It does happen, right? I think students of this age group are again, they're testing boundaries. They're trying to gain friendships or get a sense of belonging, sometimes in unhealthy ways, and that's, I think, comes out in the form of bullying. So it does exist. We don't tolerate it. It's against our core values as a school, and so we look to treat every individual case as sort of meeting with that student, figuring out what would be the best ways forward, consequencing students for stepping outside of expectations, and then trying to restore the social friendships as well. So take a look in our student handbook. It's on the middle school Go page. That clearly defines it, and then how we deal with it as well. You're welcome. Question at the back.
I have a question about Power School. I have 2 students here, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a parental login where you can go back and forth between the 2, or do you have to just log in and log out for both?
Yeah, you have to log in and log out for both. There's a session as well that's dedicated solely to understanding Power School for parents. So I encourage you to take a look and attend one of those, more of a workshop-y type session where you can log in and figure it all out. So, yeah. Yes?
Yeah, I have a question regarding pursuit.
Yes.
Is it the decision of the child on his own to decide what he wants to do, or do the teacher advise the kids if they need something to...
Great question. These are all excellent questions. I really enjoy it today. So Pursuits is sort of a schedule within a schedule where we have opportunities for students to extend and enrich their learning, as well as get intervention and help in particular classes. It's 3 days a week, on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays for 45 minutes. We defer to the child to make a decision that's best for their learning, okay? And so sometimes we'd like to see students have a balance of, I'm going to do rock climbing on Mondays, but I'm going to do math help on Tuesdays, and then I can do cooperative games on Wednesdays or something as an example. And so there's a balance of different types of courses that are available to them. We've debated long and hard as a faculty about whether or not we kind of say this child needs this for help in this regard. We'll coach the child to make that decision, but we're kind of leaving it to them to make that choice because for some of them it's, they're really looking forward to that class, and it's the one thing every week, rock climbing, I want to do that, and that's what gets me up and gets me excited for school, and so we really want to respect that. Please.
Yeah, my question is about homework.
Yes.
The 1 hour expectation of homework in middle school, how ready are they for homework expectations in high school? And how similar or different is it?
Yeah, I would say we do a great job of transitions at the school. The 5th grade team knows about our homework expectations. They start working towards it. We allow for some time and space as they start middle school to We're not going to, your kid's not going to come home tonight with a heavy load of homework. That's going to be phased in over the course of the first month of school as well. And so that happens also at the 8th grade level, moving into high school, where teachers start to, maybe not the length of time on the task, but certainly the sophistication of that homework project does increase in 8th grade, where they're needing to be much more independent, and perhaps homework for a night might be independent research in a particular area for a social studies class moving into high school, where yes, they will, the workload will increase, but also kind of the sophistication of the actual task does as well. So we do we have a graduated system where we're kind of transitioning students from one to the other. I want to be respectful of everybody's time. I'll stick around if you want to ask more individualized questions, but we do appreciate you coming out. We have a number of other offerings over the next week or so. Come on out, or just stop by the middle school office as well. We'd love to hear about how the first couple of days and weeks of school goes for your child. So thank you again so much for coming.